Let's get straight to the story that Joe was talking about at the top there, to the court decision that may shake up the 2024 presidential election if it hasn't already. Colorado's Supreme Court ruling that former President Trump's candidacy in the state's primary next year prohibited on constitutional grounds. The ruling coming from a provision of the 14th Amendment which prohibits officers of the United States from holding office if they've engaged in insurrection or rebellion. The Colorado High Court agreeing with a lower court ruling that President Trump incited and encouraged the use of violence on January 6, 2021. It overturned the lower court's ruling, finding that the president is an officer of the country that elected him and barred him from being named to the Colorado primary ballot. Now, the court put its action on hold until January 4th to allow for further appeals. A spokesperson for the Trump campaign bashing the ruling and signaling that an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court was forthcoming. Republican presidential hopefuls weighing in on that decision. Vivek Ramaswamy pledging to withdraw his name from the Colorado ballot himself unless Trump's name is restored. Let's show you some reaction, though, from Nikki Haley and Chris Christie from separate campaign events last night.
I don't think Donald Trump needs to be president. I think I need to be president. I think that's good for the country. But I will beat him fair and square. We don't need to have judges making these decisions. We need voters to make these decisions.
I do not believe Donald Trump should be prevented from being president of the United States by any court. I think he should be prevented from being president of the United States by the voters of this country.
Meantime, Ron DeSantis criticizing the ruling in a post on X and said the U.S. Supreme Court should reverse that decision. Democratic candidate RFK Jr. posted on X that every American should be troubled by the court's decision to remove President Trump from that ballot and said it deprives the American people of their right to choose. So a lot of debate happening. Also, I think I saw the GOP, one of the official GOP accounts coming out and saying that effectively they would try to take the entire GOP somehow off the ballot in Colorado, and everyone would be put on independently. I didn't understand what they were suggesting, but of course, raising all sorts of big issues. And then the question, of course, is do other states follow? What does the Supreme Court do, et cetera, et cetera?
There's like 20 other states. These the 4 judges were all appointed by a Democratic governor. I don't know if there is a debate. I haven't seen even a single Democrat really say, yeah, it's a great decision and we applaud it.
I think it's clear that the Supreme Court will take this up. I think they're going to be forced to pretty quickly. Hopefully that happens. And by the way, it was a court with 7 judges.
4-3, and 4 were Democrats.
3 who dissented said that, look, this is a situation where due process wasn't given precedence on this, and it shouldn't happen. So I think the Supreme Court is going to take this up pretty quickly.
No doubt. And they're taking up other things.
It's very interesting, though. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the Supreme Court's taking up some other cases about whether someone that has the powers of the presidency even has to deal with it. It's very bizarre. And then you're going to hear, I guarantee you, even though you're not seeing a lot of people saying this is great, and this probably, like every other, what looks to be a negative thing for Donald Trump turns out, that his poll numbers go up. You certainly have heard it, postulated that you probably shouldn't have one presidential candidate able to use the power of the presidency to hurt his rival. And it just looks like this just starts, feeling like that again. So I don't know how this could embolden his supporters. I don't think it's going to go very far.
But,
it's not going to last. But there's 20 other states. There's probably 20 other states that are doing this.
But this was not a move that was put up by the Biden administration.
I'm not saying it was, but it's Democrats.
Well, you just said it was by his rivals.
Democratic governor, Democratic appointees of the Supreme Court, and judges, unelected judges. So it's going to embolden
and then you're going to have
people.
unelected judges. You're going to have unelected judges determining
the Supreme Court appointed by
Trump.
And you know what the Supreme Court looks like.
Right.
If you are a constitutionalist and you do read through the Constitution, and you would have to determine that he was involved in insurrection. But if he was involved in insurrection, by the way, it's right there in the Constitution. So
that's why due process. That's why due process comes up. This was the 14th. This was the 14th Amendment to the Constitution that was put in place after the Civil War. It's never been tested by the Supreme Court. It's never been enforced holistically by Congress, which is why you're looking back at.
But at some point, if it's written into the anyway, and then there's states' rights.
It is an amendment.
Very interesting. there's a very interesting states' rights case to be made here, which is, again, in the sort of very unique, weird bedfellows thing going on. On the Republican side, typically everything is states' rights, and here you're going to have a state making this decision.
But it's a state making a decision based on federal constitutional law, which it'll definitely
in the whole notion of whether he inspired this and caused the violence and definitely was behind it. That's a Rorschach test for tribalism where you are, and it's also.
But again, that's the due process. That's the First Amendment due process. That
it's not going to. It's not. Yet, he's going to be on the ballot probably in every state. That may be the scary thing. Because
the only thing I'll say is that at least this steps up this argument. It makes it start happening now rather than later, because this is an argument that was going to come later, regardless. So it's probably good to have the Supreme Court weighing in on something quickly rather than now.
But they're still, they're still mad at the Supreme Court for not counting all the hanging chads. So it's gonna be politicized. We're gonna hear that too. From how long ago was that? Was that really 23 years ago?
Of course, the Supreme Court's as political as it. Let's also be honest. The Supreme Court's now as political as it's ever been.
I mean, they try and stay out of it, just like the Fed.
So if you look at how the country's going to look at that,
you don't
remember the Earl Warren court. I don't know if it's political. It depends. Once again, that's in the eye of the beholder too, whether it's as political as it's ever been. I mean, you don't want. You haven't argued for 13 Supreme Court. We don't want to add another 4 liberals, do we, Andrew? Would that make it fair? That's not the answer.
I don't know what the right answer is. I think
you won't just reject that.
I don't know what the right answer is when you have.
There's too many conservatives, but there are too many conservatives right now. There's just no doubt about it, right?
You know what I do know?
On a relative basis to the country and the way the country votes, yes. I think that's right. If you're just measuring how the country fares and how the court does not on a holistic.
But this is your opinion again.
Yes. Okay. I mean, but I think it's empirical.
Right. Everybody can. Well, I know.
I think it's mathematical. I think it's mathematical based on looking at the country.
You use that rain thing that if it's raining outside, and some people say it's not raining. There's a lot of nuance coming from both sides.